Hi everybody, this is Michael.
And this is Carolyn.
And this is the Penguin Coffee Clutch.
Yes.
Yes.
With tea.
With tea.
And water.
Water, yes.
Yes.
F&W Media.
And I have
backwards.
knit backwards. Sorry about that. We'll have to tell Cheryl about that.
I wonder why the camera is backward. You'd think they would have taken that into account.
I would have thought so too, but they didn't. Anyway. So shall I show you my shawl?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's look at this shawl.
The Wilda Smear, which is by Kristen of Vine and the Yarngasm podcast, and it's huge.
And I should mention once again that we will be giving away this pattern to one of the people in the shawl along.
Yes, it's a great pattern. It is a great pattern.
So if you don't have the pattern yet and you want it, enter the shawl along, you might win it.
I've already worn it to work.
Jazz hands.
Yeah, jazz hands. I have already worn this to work. I got a lot of compliments. I wore it with a navy blue dress, and it was great.
Not really, too surprised.
No, I loved it.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy. So Kristen, thank you for made the pattern, because this is really wonderful. I love it. And it blocks out so huge. So it's really nice. So I did finish that, so that was good. And then I ran into a little knitting downturn because I was working on my other shawl, that big white lace shawl.
Yes, I remember.
That thing?
Yeah.
Well, I thought I'd get through this first pattern.
Mm-hmm.
I had all the intentions in the world of getting through this first pattern.
Mm-hmm.
I've made progress.
Yeah, there is a little progress there.
Yeah, see, you actually see that there's some kind of pattern developing.
That is true, but I knew what the pattern was before you.
Well, that's cheating.
well, no. I mean, I recognize the Estonian lace.
Yes.
It's a classic pattern. It's like that star thing.
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And I've actually done all the photocopying, so I've got the pattern repeated 6 times.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really going well. I mean, it's not, I mean, the lace, it's time consuming, so that I can get the gauge, keep the gauge right, so that it remains open. Mm-hmm. Because normally I knit a little tighter than what this requires. So I'm concentrating on the gauge.
Well, then with the noops especially, it's important.
Yes, because otherwise you can't get them off.
Yeah, they're fun.
Yeah. So Michael understands everything about knitting, so it's great.
I don't.
Yes, you do.
I really don't.
Well, you put on a good...
Mind you, it's probably because there's things I haven't learned yet, but still, you know,
well,
there's plenty I don't know.
There's no problem I've had that he hasn't figured out. So anyway, except for this week...
You haven't done stranded color work yet.
Yes, I have.
Well, I wouldn't be able to figure it out. I wouldn't be able to help you with it. So.
Okay. So this week in Long Island, there's something blooming that has gone to my eyes. And so from Sunday evening when I came back from my mother's house for Mother's Day, and until this morning when it started raining, all I wanted to do is hopefully pop my eyeballs out and wash them continually, because they itch, they ache, they burn.
I've had that.
I can't knit on lace like that. I can't keep the only way they feel good is with my eyes shut.
Okay. Yeah,
And so I can't do this lace with my eyes shut. Not good.
I know a couple of blind knitters, but I don't know if they knit lace or not. So.
They would.
They have the cutest dogs though.
Well, you know, I did knit something without looking at it. If I brought it, anyway, I can knit socks without looking. Once I get them up, you know, past the toe and up. So I decided to cast on a bunch of socks. So what I have is I went into my stockpile, and I have 3 skeins of Felici that I had gotten from Knit Picks. So I've got 59920, which is getting blown out. There we are. So that's one, and then this is called Surfs Up. 7, 8. Oh, this is Tea Party. Very cute. And then this one, I lost the ball band.
No, you didn't. It's right here.
Oh, okay. Thank you. And this one is Countess.
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 It's very purple.
Yes. Very royal. And then I remembered I had the little opal minis from the Christmas box, the advent calendar. So then I thought, well, why don't I do slightly different colored toes and heels? So I have that to go with that. I have this to go with that. And then I already cast this one on. And this one, I thought was just going to go between purple and blue. No. Now I realize in the middle is yellow. But anyway, I'm starting with this, but I'm making these toes.
Yeah, I don't understand the appeal of doing different colored toes and heels.
Oh, it's just something different.
I guess. It's just...
So I've started my toe. It's a rounded toe.
Yeah.
Yep. So I'm doing I'm doing increases till I get to 30 on each side of the needle, and then I'm going to go straight up. So I'm about halfway there. I'm going to do maybe another row of just plain knitting and then do another increase and do it like that. So I happen to like the rounded toes.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. So this will eventually get a little bit of this blue in it and then go to that. I just, you know, it's something to smile about because no one's going to see my socks.
Yeah, that's
my socks are in my hiking boots, but I can smile about them.
Okay,
so
I guess that's fair, yeah.
That, you know what, after as bad as I felt this week, anything that is going to bring a smile to my face, I'm going for.
Yeah.
It's just, I was in agony. And, you know, I had office hours and I had students come in and I really wanted to be pleasant. And it was just so hard when it was almost like there were spikes in my eyes. It was really, I'm sorry, enough complaining. I apologize.
Yes, I've had similar experiences in my past, so I can empathize.
So now I have just, and then the socks that I started earlier this week that I can knit blind are Felici and they're Baker Street, so they're shades of gray.
Okay.
And they're doing, I guess it's self-striping. It's actually self-color blocking. It's more than just a stripe. And so I've got about halfway up my foot. And if you notice, I'm doing toe-up socks. I took that class on socks, heels and toes with Kate Atherley this past January at Vogue Knitting Live. And socks are a new adventure for me. I only started knitting socks about 1.5 years ago.
It's funny because my mother knits basically only socks. So.
I've been a sweater person.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
so
my wife is too.
Never occurred to me that socks would be exciting to me. But anyway, so this is kind of a new exploration for me. And I first started, you know, with the cuff down. And I like my socks snug. I don't like floppy socks. I like snug socks.
Makes sense. I mean, as my understanding goes, that's how socks are supposed to be.
Well, my socks weren't turning out that way.
Oh, that's no good.
So I kept trying small and small. And then what Kate said was that one of the reasons she didn't prefer an afterthought heel is because there was no gusset for it. So it didn't give you that extra space. And I went, oh, brilliant, brilliant. I don't need the gusset. That's where we run into problems. So I'm now started knitting tube socks with an afterthought heel. And I like them. I really like them.
Yeah, I've only done afterthought heels myself, and I like those as well. So
you know,
works for me.
Works for me. I'm up to tube socks now. I never thought I'd be excited about knitting tube socks, but the colors are fun. And for me, it was a matter. One of the reasons I wanted to do this is I've got 24 of these suckers, you know, because it's from the advent calendar.
Oh yeah.
And I wanted to do something that was relatively meaningful.
Makes sense.
So that's why I'm doing the different colored heels and toes on these things. The other reason is another thing that Kate and I talked about, because I wear my socks in my shoes, but they don't wear out then. They wear out when I wear them around the house.
Makes sense, yeah.
So she said to use another light yarn in with it, and I'll think of it in just a minute.
Nylon?
It's a nylon, but with some Wallace Rowan Kid Silk Haze.
Oh.
Is that? So it's got nylon in it. So she said hold it double with the regular yarn, and that should be fine. So I started doing that.
I didn't think that would strengthen the sock, make it easier to darn, but...
She thought it would strengthen it. So I've done one pair of socks that way.
She knows better than I do. So.
And I'm going to do that with these two. So I've got like 3 different colors of kid silkays to kind of weave in with this. So anyway, I've started on a huge sock thing. And then we were going to be doing something. Were we starting in June or July?
I believe July, yeah, because there would be Knitmas in July.
Yes. Okay. So I'm saving a special yarn for that. And I have another one of these things that kind of coordinates with that yarn. So I'm getting ready. So anyway, this is what I've been doing this week. I couldn't work on what we're supposed to be working on. I couldn't do that because I couldn't see. And that I need to see the chart for. So
to be fair, I've still been knitting very, very little.
Well, I felt really bad, but I tried. I really did try.
Yeah, things have been less than spectacular for me lately, so it's been a little hard for me to knit.
So what I did do is I did all kinds of baby hats.
Oh, that one's cute.
Isn't that cute?
Yeah.
And this one, no, that's inside out. This one changes, the brim changes color in sunlight.
Oh, that's...
It's a haiku.
Yeah.
So I did do that. And then I did... Oh, I did bring my Baker Street. That's cute.
Yeah, it doesn't work. Light is just too much for it. Oh,
there. Well. Okay. And it won't change color. So here are my Baker Street socks. I think they're nice. They're almost corporate looking.
Yeah, I guess so.
You know? So I'm doing 2 at a time. So I'm going to get them, so I'll work on them as well as working on all these others. I can't believe I started all these socks because, of course, I signed up for Tour de Sock starting in June, and they will be very intricate patterns, and I really can't wait.
Oh, yeah.
But I joined a team that's supposed to be relaxed.
Okay.
So that means that we all don't have to finish. So I have yarn. I bought all my yarn. I'm ready. In fact, one pair is supposed to be beaded. I'm ready. I have my beads. So I'm going to give it a try. We start, I don't even know when we start. I think we start June 1st.
Are beaded socks comfortable?
I don't know.
Okay.
Well,
I guess we'll find out.
I bet they're only on the cuff.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
I'm hoping. I am hoping.
Yeah, because I can't imagine you could put them any place where you'd wear a shoe.
I can't imagine that either. And then the other thing I worked on while I was at my mom's house, I went down to see my mom and dad for Mother's Day. My mom and dad are both 88. So I decided when she hit 75.
Are they still healthy?
My mom is pretty healthy. I mean, she has episodes of various and sundry things, and she watches her diet tremendously. She has an overabundance of potassium. She should ship it to me because I have an underabundance of potassium. So I don't know. Maybe she sucked mine out. I have no idea.
I apparently have critically low vitamin D3 levels.
Huh.
So that's fun.
So we have to go sit out and sunbathe or what?
I don't know. They told me to take supplements.
So anyway, I was down there and I wanted to do something simple because the whole family gathers. And so it's chaos. It's just, and the dog, a full-size German Shepherd, gets into the act.
Yeah, I think you mentioned him before.
Yes. So he was there. Anyway, I worked on another shawl.
Yeah, whenever I go upstate to Tanya's family, they have a German Shepherd, and she is just full of energy. It's
very full of energy.
Crazy.
So you can see there's little fans here. So it had one pattern down below, and then it's the ripple fan effect. And I'm almost done with the second step, and the last one will be using this color back again. So anyway, that's what I worked on. I think I've showed it before. I showed it when it was down here someplace. So it's going to be a half, I think it's a 3/4 pie actually. And it's made of cotton, Woolies Cotton Creations.
And how you like working with it?
You know, I'm not thrilled, but I wasn't thrilled with the first one I made. But the wearing of it is really good in the summer. So for that, I'm willing to put up with the fact that this isn't plied at all. It's just laid together.
Yeah.
Which means you can split it really easily with your needle.
Right, yeah, I know.
But
I was imagining more of the cotton aspect.
no,
to it.
that's okay.
Okay.
That part's okay. It's just
So it's just the ply that you know.
it's just the ply that I don't like, but they wear so well
Okay.
in the summer. I made another one last year in kind of a tonal white to cream to beige, and that has beads on it. And I wear it a lot in the summer, and it's just as any shawl is really easy in the summer, but this one really, it was warmer than I thought it would be. So even going in and out of air conditioning, it helps. So for that, it makes the working with it worthwhile.
It's understandable.
Yes. I don't intend to do more than maybe 1 or 2 a year with the woolies, but you know, the rest it will work. So what else have I been doing? Oh goodness.
You've been doing a lot.
Yeah, well,
more than I have.
do you want to talk about what you've been doing, and then we'll talk about the other thing that I did and I brought in?
Sure.
Okay. So I'll put this away.
Okay. So I knit a tiny amount on my sock, and
I love this color.
I don't know how well we can.
Oh, that's
see it.
good. Here, I'll shade this one.
Sure. There.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
That worked out well.
You can kind of see it.
It's a little greener than that. I think it's showing up blue-ish, but it's pretty.
You can kind of see the cables there, and they look a lot better here on this end. So the pattern's starting to be seen at the very least. So that's something.
I like it.
Yeah.
You know me, I love your cables.
Otherwise,
all the time.
Let's see. As far as things I've been doing knitting related, I've been playing with dyeing a little. So
he was playing with the dye when I came over.
Well, I was going to play with it earlier today, but
no, I just think you got stuck in it.
Yeah, and then someone.
It's so easy to do.
Someone decided it was a great idea to rearrange our kitchen and closets.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, that's a brilliant idea when you're doing dyeing.
Well, it was before I was dyeing, so I was hoping to dye, and then I was like, oh, we got to rearrange the kitchens and the closets because they're messy. So you're going to have to wait on your dyeing, which isn't quite how the conversation went, but that's...
I'm not even going to go there.
how it felt, so that's kind of why I was still playing with it when you got in.
I see. Okay.
But before that, I started playing with trying to figure out colors, and I have no idea how well they'll show up here.
Okay, so we'll... Oops.
Okay, that's not bad.
No, that's not bad at all.
So this is...
And with your formulas?
Yes,
Okay.
so I'm testing formulas, so that's one page. I have 3 pages here. This is another one.
Okay.
And it's various
Nice.
blues and purples. And then we have some greens and yellows here.
Oh, nice. You've got a nice deep yellow there.
Yes, well, that's just the pure yellow.
Oh.
Although
Well, these are really nice. I happen to like those.
Yeah, I like those too. I think I'll use that for my starling colorway. I forget what kind of starling it is, but
It's a very bright starling.
otherwise, I've been trying to work on my first
Whoa.
repeatable dye for repeatable skein.
Ah. Okay.
So it's not going well thus far, or quite yet, but it's you know it's the first step. I've got to detangle it here.
Well, right. Oh, here, let me put this up. That helps.
So
Why don't you tell them the story behind it?
Well, I really like birds, especially penguins, obviously, but songbirds. And I was looking for birds of different colors as inspirational, and I decided to do a color off of the ringneck parrot.
Right.
Because it's kind of a yellow-green color that I thought was really pretty. So that's mostly what that's going to be, is yellow-green with some black and a little bit of red, and call it a day.
Oh, I think it's getting there.
Yeah, it's getting there. Needs more green. Yeah.
Well, you know, it's an exploration.
Yeah, I think my colors are good, but my technique needs some work, so I've got to figure that out.
Okay.
This hand painting thing is difficult, it turns out.
Well, yeah, you know, it's like many things that they look simple, but it's not. Because otherwise there'd be armies of people doing it.
Well, I don't think, I think my dye buckets aren't big enough, so that's the first step I need. And then I need stocks. I need dye stocks. It's just making my dyes every time is for the birds, which is a funny phrase.
Bad pun. Bad pun.
Yes. But you know, so that's what I've been working on as far as get hands-on stuff. Otherwise, I had a talk at the Long Island Knitting Guild yesterday.
Oh wow!
And
what was it on?
It was on cables.
Oh, what a surprise!
But it was technique agnostic, so for the most part. So I tried to apply it as much as possible to both crochet and knitting.
How did you do that?
Well, you can cable in both crochet and knitting.
Can you?
Yes, you can. With crochet, it's a little different. Well, kind of. Because you know, with crochet, you normally go into the top of the stitches.
Yes.
Well, if you go through the front loop of the stitches and you skip a couple of stitches, you can create a cable that way. So you go through the front loops and you go back to the stitches you skipped and you go through the front loops of those and you create a cable. And that's the most common way to cable and crochet. And you can.
You've actually done this?
I played with it a little, yeah, but I mostly researched it online. And you can do traveling cables in crochet too. It's generally best to do the cable different than the background. So if you have like a half double crochet, you do a back post double crochet as the cable foreground.
Right. Okay.
And then you just do the front post double crochet as the cable itself, and you can create traveling cables, so you can make them pretty much as well. I don't know if you can make them quite as intricate as knit cables, because with knit cables you can go over one stitch, you can go over two.
You can go up to as many as 12.
Although I suppose you could do similar things with crochet. I don't know if anyone's ever done it, but I don't see why it wouldn't be possible. They look slightly different, knit and cable crochet, knit and crochet cables, but they're still cables nonetheless, and all the rules still apply to them.
So what you were just talking about how you could do these? You were talking about the wonders of cables and design?
I was talking about do's and don'ts mostly.
Oh, what don't you do?
Well, if you're designing a cable, you don't make it asymmetrical without a very good reason, because it's very hard to make a good-looking asymmetrical cable.
Okay,
Symmetry is very important in cables. You don't go too dark of a yarn because you're not going to be able to see the cable.
Right.
You don't go too variegated of a yarn because you're not going to see the cable.
Or tweedy either.
Yes, tweedy's.
Tweety just fades into the...
Yeah, it's a little less problematic than highly variegated, but it's still problematic.
Yes. I've done that. that mistake I've already made.
You can go a little tweedy, you can go a little variegated. It's generally better to go solid and tonal those.
Right.
And otherwise, it talked about things like how wide to make the cables, how often to cross the cables.
How often should you cross a cable?
It really depends on the size of the cable. The larger the cable, the less often you should cross it.
Okay, well that makes sense, because otherwise you got a knot, basically.
Yes. And otherwise, the more often you cross the cable, the denser the fabric you're going to have.
Right.
But that's more of a fact of traveling cables than it is with stacked cables.
So, if you were making a coat, you would more likely want to have thick cables crossing, because that would make it a denser fabric and therefore it would be warmer?
Theoretically, but I don't think anyone's ever thought of cables for that reason. Cables are pretty, not
not warm.
Oh no, they're warm, but they're it's basically knitting. You want them,
right.
You want them as close to the gauge as you're knitting as possible, which is impossible. You can't. The gauge of a cable is going to be tighter than the gauge of knitting.
Right, because you're crossing it.
Yeah, but you still don't want to go too far off the beaten path. You want a nice I mean, it really depends on the fabric you want, because I have a really cabled cowl, the gray cowl, the Mobius that I've worn a couple times. It's very stiff and because of a very tightly packed dense fabric, but that's okay because it's a Mobius and it was designed to be denser. But if you want a more flowing fabric, you're going to want to go up in size on needles for one thing for your cables, and for another thing, you're not going to want a pattern that crosses a whole bunch of times in a short period of space. So.
I was thinking about how cold it was here, and then if you knitted a coat, you might want something that was almost like
in that case,
armor.
That might be true, but in that case, I'd recommend double knitting it, because that would be good. Yes. Because double knitting, you don't have the holes on the two sides don't quite line up, so the air won't go through it as well. It's a warmer fabric than single knit, even thicker single knit.
And you can still do cables on it.
Yeah, they're not easy. But with double knitting, you can break some of those rules. Like, you can use a dark yarn or a variegated yarn or a tweedy yarn with double knit cables, as long as you have a light background that's solid.
Mm-hmm. So it opens up a lot of vistas.
Yes.
Sounds good.
Of course, you can do that with color work as well. And one of the easiest ways to make a reversible scarf with cables is a tube scarf.
Huh.
You do that with stranded color work. You can break all sorts of rules.
I'd never really thought about that.
Yeah. Makes it easy.
Sounds good. Sounds good. So what else is going on?
I wrote a controversial blog post recently.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Do you want to share it, or don't you want to be that controversial online?
Well, it is online.
This is the first I've heard about this, so it's
I just wrote it today.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't think anybody's read it yet.
Controversy about knitting or what?
Yes.
Oh.
Well.
Do you care to share?
Design.
What's controversial about design?
Mostly how sock knitters or sock designers design heels instead of full socks.
Because you say that they'll say, "Well, put this part here and put this part there," type of thing.
Well, you don't see that a whole lot in other knitting, in other types of accessories and garments. You people. I'm sure it's happened, but there aren't a lot of special shoulders in sweaters. More like I've knit a sweater and it has a new shoulder construction. Here's the sweater. And so you can go into the sweater and as a designer you can say, okay, well, let me take the new shoulder construction and put it into my own words and put it into another pattern, and that's okay. But it gets a little harder with socks, because people will design just heels, and there are multiple instances of this. And
okay, so sometimes if you I'm stuck with afterthought heels.
Mm-hmm.
They often have directions that say, well, it's like adding a toe, but at the heel, right?
No. I mean, like.
No, I'm getting there.
Okay,
okay. So I'm doing this toe increase just off the top of my head. Okay. Knowing the stitches I started with,
right.
Knowing the stitches I want to end up with on each side.
Right.
So if I actually made a plan out of this and called it my round toe and heel,
yes,
I could do that as long as I hadn't looked at anybody else.
True.
Right?
Yes, and you could
Predmore's perfection toe.
and then you could sell it.
The toe. Or the heel.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it would be awkward for another designer to come in and take that design and put it into their pattern because it's a for sale pattern. And I think
unless they put it up for free.
That is true, but I mean the most obvious one, this is why it gets really controversial, is the Fish Lips Kiss heel.
Yes.
But there are others. There's the OMG heel by the Stocknet Zombies, although somebody did actually use or write out the instructions for that in one of their own patterns and just put, they just credited the Stocknet zombie person. I can't remember which one it was, probably the blonde one. I don't know people's names. I'm really bad at this. What kind of podcaster doesn't know the names of other podcasters?
Someone who pairs up with me, that's who. All right, well, I can see that point. But, I mean, I could see, because this I'm really liking this toe. So,
yeah.
I know, but I know what you're saying, because I know that there's...
But I mean, legally, it's a technique. You can. If I wanted, I could take the Fish Lips Kiss heel, write it out in my own words, and put it into a knitting pattern, and... As
long as you didn't call it the Fish Lips Kiss heel.
Oh, no, I could call it the Fish Lips Kiss heel. I could say it's from the Fish Lips Kiss heel, and it is legal, but I don't think the knitting community would be very open to that. Because of the story of the Fish Lips Kiss heel, but unfortunately that makes it very awkward to use that heel in your own design, because you can't explain it in your own words. You can't put up a tutorial on it. And there's no way I'm going to write a pattern and say go buy this other pattern now, because that's weird.
Well, then it seems to me now is that
obviously the solution here is to not use the Fish Lips Kiss heel.
Right.
But and I think that just seems weird. That's what it's turned into. I mean, I mean, it opens up a can of worms. What if people want to design shoulder constructions as standalone patterns and say that you can't use them in your design without paying for it, which, to be fair, the Socks
That Rocks?
I'm trying to remember the designer. She's known for more than just the Fish Lips Kiss heel, by the way. She has a lot of beautiful sock patterns. It's that I think is just the craze of the day. So,
well, I have bought the pattern.
Yeah,
so,
I know, and there's a lot to the pattern, but if you want to just take the part that's just the Fish Lips Kiss heel without the rest of it.
The part that I'm bringing up is having done the Fish Lips Kiss heel now, and I'll apologize in advance that maybe I missed something important here, okay? Because I did it, I enjoyed the pattern, it told me where to start the heel and all of that. I understand that, and for that I'm glad I paid the $1. But what I didn't see was how this was much different than thinking about how you've got this wide thing and you have to close it. So the only thing that I found that was revolutionary was actually her helping me with the measuring. That measuring I thought was wonderful. The knitting of the heel was like, okay. It's all right. I mean, it's what I expected to be happening, and it worked. Right. So I don't see...
But all of a sudden, we have this culture where people are writing sock patterns with this heel pattern in it.
But I don't see why they do that.
And saying, go buy this pattern.
I don't understand how you do that. Why don't you just say, put all these stitches on your needle, and do this then with the needles, and then decrease.
That's how it should be, in my opinion. And that's what I wrote the I mean, it wasn't just about the Fish Lips Kiss heel.
As long as you don't say, by the way, this is another way of stating Fish Lips Kiss heel, but there's only so many ways I think you can talk about decreasing for a heel.
I don't know.
I'm obviously lost in this, and I apologize anybody I've offended. But with the pattern...
No, I know I'm going to offend people with this because it is a controversial topic, and the designer does have... Is it the designer that has cancer, or is it...
I think a relative.
Yeah, the designer's relative does have stage 3 cancer, and they are using
fundraising.
To fundraise. But at the same
Which is admirable.
Yes, it's very admirable, and I agree with it. But I don't see why I should feel bad about using the heel in my pattern and without saying go pay for.
Well, I don't think that as long as you don't call it the fish lips kiss heel, you just tell people to do a certain decrease, and as long as you didn't get it necessarily from that pattern.
That might be fair. Well, I'm
welcoming people to make comments
I don't
let
know.
us know.
See, the way I think about it is
But see, I wouldn't go necessarily into how she goes into detail about how to measure for the heel.
Obviously, that's
a big deal.
Yeah, you wouldn't. I don't think you should copy that part because that's where I think the line should be drawn. But,
agreed.
But I mean, for my own stuff, I'm a somewhat innovative knitter, who's
do tell.
who has come up with some techniques.
Yes.
And I would have no problem somebody else going along and using my, for lack of it's feel weird saying that, my techniques in their patterns, even without crediting me, although I would prefer to be credited, obviously, but because I want my designs to stand on their own, not because they're this new technique that you need to buy the pattern to learn. I don't believe in that.
Well, if I'm going to make socks, I'm going to have round toes and heels.
Yes. I believe that the community is going to be best served if these techniques are distributed freely for all designers, and that the designs are what matter, not the techniques. The techniques should not be proprietary, in my opinion.
Okay, so you think... So... If what she had sold was just hold on. If it was the measurement, the way to get perfect heel placement on your socks, you'd be okay with that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay.
And I don't know how she would feel about other people using it. I really should reach out and find out.
That's a good idea.
But right now,
instead of assuming.
Yeah, but right now the community is from what I have read and heard is of the mindset that you can't use the fish lips kiss heel in your own pattern without saying go buy the pattern, and that's not the right it's not the right mindset.
If you reference it as the fish lips kiss heel,
I think
that's true.
I think the
decreases.
I think you can reference it as the fish lips kiss heel. I think you should credit the designer with the reference. That's how I think it should be handled.
All right.
So
I would handle it just by dictating the decreases.
Well, then that's kind of like trying to make claim that you came up with the heel on your own.
There's only so many different ways you can do heels.
No, but I think it's better to give credit to the originator, because the person deserves credit.
I have to do research to figure out who did this kind of increase.
No, you don't, because because you came up with it on your own.
I didn't open anything.
Yeah, you don't have
That's
to.
That's okay?
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay. Well, what if if you've got a sock?
But I mean, my recommendation, if you wanted to publish it, would be to publish it publish a sock that includes it.
Well, yes.
Not just the toe or the heel.
Oh, yes.
And obviously, like we were talking about, the fish lips kiss heel is more than just the heel. It is way more.
It is a great measurement system.
Yes.
Yes.
And I think it's worth purchasing for that.
I agree. I've gotten the first perfect placement of my heels with that measuring. So that is great. I go nowhere without that piece of cardboard.
So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to reach out, see what her thoughts, her opinions are, and then
because perfect placement is great.
And then discuss that one way or the other with you and the community.
Well, I'm the nitwit in the room, so
because even if she doesn't want people to use the pattern, I'm still going to be of the opinion that you should be able to use that technique. So
I don't know. I can't answer you.
Yeah, I know.
Because I know other people are doing short row heels, and they're trying all kinds of ways to get around referencing a fish lips kiss eel.
So you've heard it too.
I understand the conundrum.
This really is a community mindset. I'm not crazy here.
No, you're not crazy.
Okay, and I really think this needs to come out in the light. I don't care how unpopular it makes me. I'm bringing this discussion to the table.
My point is, I'm just confused because it seems to me that what really sets her apart is her measurement and going into such detail about it. It wasn't the decreases necessarily, because you could even call. Okay, so pretend this is where my heel goes. I've got 2 pieces here, and I've taken out my extra crazy thread, and I'm going to pull them together. Well, what you got is a fish lips anyway. I could call it moonbeam or whatever, but you've got to close the hole.
Yes.
And if you give the directions on how to close the hole, if you're not copying word for word,
you can't plagiarize.
Then I don't understand why you can't tell people the kind of decrease you would like them to do.
Legally, you can. Legally, it's a technique. It's not. It's or a stitch pattern. It is not a full design. But again, the community mindset is you can't do this. It's wrong.
And I have heard this.
And I disagree. I disagree wholeheartedly. Yes. And I know that's not a popular opinion, but that is your opinion. And I will find out. I will get the definitive answer.
You will. Okay. Well, that's good.
Whether or not.
I think we should reach out to her and see what she has to say, because it's intellectual curiosity. And I am very sorry that her relative has cancer.
Yes, and I fully support buying the pattern and the measurements.
And supporting her for that. Yes.
Or just donating money.
That's true.
I mean,
that's absolutely true.
You could start up a fund to not just buy the pattern, but donate the money, like a Patreon type of thing.
You could do that too. Yeah.
I mean, people do that, and it's a very good service. So.
Okay.
Anyways,
so
that was my controversial blog post, and now controversial podcast episode. Jazz hands again.
Okay. Yay. Yeah. If nothing, we certainly ask questions.
Yes.
So shall we show them the other thing I did this week?
Yes.
So we have our shawl along, and Michael was asking me, I guess a podcast, not one podcast, but 2 podcasts previous. What shall we give?
Yes.
And I said, well, we could do stitch markers, or we could do progress keepers.
Yes.
And then we had quite a discussion about what they should be.
So
I've made, let's see if I can pick them up. I've made tiny penguins. Oops. We dropped the penguin.
Here,
didn't break.
Let me hold the penguin.
We have 2 penguins.
I have this.
You have better dexterity than I do? Anyway, we have 2 penguins.
Okay, here's a penguin. Yeah, you can see it.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
So now we have 2 penguins, and I have jump rings, and we will put the progress keeper claws, smaller claws on them, and we will have those to give away.
Yes.
So there are penguins.
Yes, we'll have penguins. We'll have that pattern. I might donate a pattern. Depends on how much participation we get.
That's right.
So it's an exciting.
We've had some people.
We have had some participation. I'm really happy. And speaking of other things that make me happy.
Oh, please share.
We're up to 65 subscribers now.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Which is exciting.
That's very exciting.
He
always keeps me in the dark.
It's not the thousands of subscribers that some other podcasters have, but
we grow on people, Michael.
It's a start.
We're an acquired taste.
Yes, we are an acquired taste. And we've been mentioned a couple more times. We were mentioned in the Once Upon a Corgi podcast.
Really?
And the Grocery Girls.
Oh, wow.
Although I don't know if they mentioned... Yeah, I think they mentioned the podcast.
They probably mentioned you.
Yeah, they mentioned me.
Yeah. He's the designer.
This is for pattern giveaways. I gave
the
away a few patterns. And we were mentioning Volenvine, who, in all fairness, forgot the name of our podcast, but did mention me, so that's
fine.
I mentioned I had a podcast, so that's,
That's all good.
You can find us that way.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Yep. So that's good.
So that's been exciting, and of course reached out to vegan Jilly Jill from the Knitting Broomstick podcast, and she was excited to hear from me because apparently she watches our podcast, and and she likes my designs, so this is an exciting time. And of course,
your designs are great, and I'm now if today I can actually see, I can open my eyes and I can see. So maybe when I get home, I'll be able to do a couple inches on what we're working on. I just can't, if I can't read the chart, I can't do it.
I understand.
So
and otherwise, I know Melissa of the Spicy Homemaker podcast watches us regularly, and I know Andy of Andre Sue Knits watches us.
I told them last week that I had this discussion going on with Dan of the Bakery Bears and the double knitting thing, the heart thing that I did.
Oh yeah.
Yes. So you know.
So I mean, I'm
pretty. It's a good group.
I'm pretty excited.
We're in a good group, and I think that your yarn dyeing is exciting.
Yeah, it'll hopefully get
and you're going to be dealing with wool.
Yes, yes, I'm going to be merino and merino blends.
Okay.
At least for the time being.
My other half, the tiny me, which is now taller than me.
Yes.
She used to be known as the mini me. My darling daughter is broaching the idea of doing not wool, so we will be complementary, and who knows where that will go.
That's true.
Yes, because if you find a colorway that you think is really exciting and people want it in something else, then we could.
Yeah, and there's a possibility we could work together on some things, which would be pretty exciting.
Yes, yes. So anyway, there's all kinds of things going on.
Yes.
Let's see what else. Because of the allergies, I really haven't done a whole lot else with any of the knitting. that lack of seeing thing. I am happy with the blue, the dark blue shawl. I think it's going to sit for a little while I work on the lacy one. As I said, I can see today, so I'd like to get as much progress on that as possible. Oh, tomorrow we're going to a bridal shower.
Oh, okay.
Yes. My niece, who is also my goddaughter, is getting married in July. And so tomorrow we have the bridal shower, which will be fun. So everybody's coming in from hither and yon, parts distant and near are gathering. And I think we're going out to dinner, or they're going to be, I know it's going to happen. They're going to be at my house tonight. So much for knitting tonight, folks, while I can see.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that's fun. And then the wedding itself is in July. And I haven't finished my dress for that yet. So again, I can't work on the details while I can't see.
Yeah.
But on the good news, yesterday we escaped off to the sailboat. The sailboat is bought.
Okay.
The sailboat is in harbor.
Good.
And I was miserable yesterday. So and it was a beautiful day. So I snagged my husband Richard and we went out to the boat and we went sailing.
Sounds fun.
Michael, it worked.
Oh, good. The boat didn't fall apart?
The boat didn't fall apart.
It didn't sink?
No, it didn't fall. No, but the ice cleared.
Oh.
Because it was salt air.
Yeah.
For 5 hours, I had relief. And we would have stayed out longer, except that the launch doesn't, they commission, or they open the club for summer this coming Sunday.
Okay.
And that's when they get the longer hours with the launches. So we had to be back in by 7:30. Otherwise, I would have stayed out till, I don't know, midnight. It was so nice to be able to open my eyes and not have them go, to me. So I'm part of the reason, two reasons why I was really for getting this boat. One is my allergies have slowly been getting worse over the years.
Yeah.
Maybe because pollution's getting worse in our area. And we're getting more and more built up.
Maybe.
I can tell you that the southerly, which comes from the south of Long Island over to the North Shore, when I first moved to Long Island, because Richard was born here, when we first got married and lived here, it would hit the North Shore by 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay? It would take that long for the winds to come over the built-up areas on Long Island. It now takes till 6 o'clock. so that there's more of a heat rise that is preventing that southerly from making it to the North Shore until about 6 o'clock in the evening. So we are getting more and more built up, and you can tell from a number of different indications.
That's
anyway, so that may be why my allergies are just slowly marching forward.
Yeah, could be.
So I thought, I'm best when I'm at the beach. I mean, literally on the sand at the beach or in the water. But I'm not a fish, so I can't do that all the time. So I thought, well...
Oh, we have a fish here, and she just lives in a tank.
Right. So. That really wouldn't do it for me. No. We had 2 boats before, and then Richard had to have surgery, back surgery, and he's fine now. He's fine. And it's been sailing on other people's boats, and I said, it's time for us to get a boat again. I need to get into salt air on a more regular basis. Yeah. So that was 1. And 2, it was for exercise, because this is a sailboat.
Yes, that's true.
And we don't have electric winches on these boats. So we are grinding the sails up and down. And it's great.
Yeah.
It was great. Yeah. So I can see, I mean, yesterday we went out. I was a little sore this morning, but after, about a half an hour.
You'll get used to that.
I was fine.
I mean, your nervous system will get used to it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'll be fine. And it's exactly what I wanted, was the exercise and activity that we could do together that would be meaningful instead of just sitting in the basement on an exercycle, which drives me up a wall.
No, I like my exercycle. Thank you.
No, mine's in the basement. Maybe because it's in the basement.
I guess. Mine's in the closet. I have to drag it out whenever I want to use it.
But at least you're not in the closet when you're on it. I feel like I'm in a closet in the basement.
I guess, but that doesn't bother me.
Oh.
So I wouldn't mind that at all.
You wouldn't mind that at all? Well, it doesn't. I'd rather ride my bicycle outside, but we're just now getting to the weather where you can ride it outside. So anyway.
Did I mention I have a vitamin D deficiency?
You need to ride it outside. Yes, you did. A D3, as a matter of fact.
Yes. So I'm trying to say that I don't really like going outside.
Oh, is that what you're telling me?
Yes. Well, I mean that the vitamin D3 deficiency is true, but that is now what I am implying at this moment.
I see. So you really do have to spell out things for me, Michael.
Yes.
Well,
and
you don't like going out
because
we're in Queens, or because you don't like parks, or because you've been on ranches and farms and stuff.
That is true, and I love the animals. I love animals so much. I just don't like the outdoors, which is weird because I love the outdoors.
All right.
I'm not making much sense.
No, you're not. It's maybe because it's a rainy Friday. I'm not sure.
I guess what I like are forested areas with I don't like sunlight. I think that's what it comes down to. I don't like the sunlight.
That would lead to a vitamin D deficiency.
Which, yes, that's true. Although I do spend time in the sun every now and then. So
probably more is needed.
I guess. I have pale skin.
Did I tell you I had an idea for a pattern for a scarf?
No, I don't think so.
I thought I would actually do. Well, maybe I'll work on it in the next 2 weeks and I'll bring it in.
I'm working on a secret project right now. It's pretty exciting.
Okay, so if I can actually get mine to work, it'll be very exciting.
Of course, it's secret, so I can't really discuss it. But it's exciting. As usual,
it is exciting. So if I can get mine to work, that would be exciting.
Yes.
Yes, and it has to do with, kind of like your parrot stuff.
Oh.
That if the pattern goes with the yarn, the coloring of the yarn. Mm-hmm. So if it works, it'll be exciting. If it doesn't work, oh well, we'll frog it and try again.
That's true.
Yes. So who are you? Can you say who you're working on a special project with?
I don't know. I don't think I can until I discuss it
with the other person.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I wasn't even going to imply that I was working on it with another person, but I guess that cat's out of the bag.
That cat's out of the bag. That one. Is it a skirt? Is it a scarf? Is it a shawl? Is it? Or we don't know yet.
It is a knitted project. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm betting it's not a dress.
Haven't I told you what it is? Off camera.
I don't think so. I think you've told me who you're planning to work with, but I don't think you've told me what it is.
Well, I guess I'll tell you once this episode's done.
Okay, I get the secret.
Yes.
So,
well, you're actually part of the Sanity team, Team Sanity.
I've got a part to play in this?
Yes.
Oh, You better tell me what I'm supposed to be doing then.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, you're making sure that this mystery person and I don't go too insane with our...
Okay.
Because we both tend to go down that same rabbit hole.
Okay. I'm trying to keep you off the crazy pants ledge.
Yes.
Excellent. I can try to do that. Yes.
You, Tanya, and Andy of Andre Sunitz are our team sanity.
Sounds good to me. And Andy, I hope you know about this, but so we'll
She
keep
should.
We'll keep an eye on him.
I thought she did.
Okay, well, as long as we know, that's fine. All right, so I'm working. There just needs to be more hours in the day because I'd like to work on this design. I want to do all the knitting. Oh, Michael, I went downstairs into my craft room today. Mm-hmm. That was a mistake. There's like hordes of yarn, and all I kept turning. Well, I was looking for my sock yarn, mm-hmm. and everywhere I turned, there were these skeins that I had bought that are going, knit me, knit me, knit me.
I was in your daughter's apartment a little while back, and she was looking for yarn, and so I got to view a similar experience with her as she dug through all her yarn to look for the specific yarn. That was fun.
Oh, there's just so much, and there's so much variety, and it's all gorgeous. I can't imagine how people come home without buying anything. I really can't. So I just have to really knit faster, and then I have to, stay up all night to work on designs.
That's how Tanya does it. She knits fast and then goes through her stash. Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's a one of those self-made videos with the animated characters online. Elizabeth found it for me, my daughter, and it's Prince Philip and Queen Elizabeth supposedly, and she's talking about he asked her, what do you want for your birthday? She says, well, I want yarn. And he goes, I bought you yarn for Christmas. Yes. So I want more yarn. And
I don't think this was an actual conversation between the two of them.
But this is the characters are dressed up this way.
Yes.
And she says, but I want more yarn for my birthday. You asked me what I wanted for my birthday, and I want more yarn.
That is always Tanya's thing, more yarn. And since I don't think she's going to actually watch this, I can tell you what I am planning on doing.
Oh, okay.
Although, you do some filler while I go.
I'm doing some filler. So anyway, then this Prince Philip character says, but you have enough yarn for 48 years. And Queen Elizabeth says, so? I plan to be alive for another 48 years, and what difference does that make? If what I want is more yarn for my birthday, then what I want is more yarn for my birthday. And I can understand that completely, because every time I go to look at a different indie dyer or somebody I haven't seen before, it's so pretty, and plus the colorways they gather or capture someone's imagination, that I think it speaks to the heart of the person in terms of what they're thinking of and what their conception was of and what they're trying to share with each of us. And then we get involved because we think about, well, I want to take this construction or this conceptual color, and then I want to make it into a garment for myself or an accessory for myself. And then we become part of that creativity process, and I think it's really incredibly special. I know that in one of my online groups today, I think it's actually for the whole weekend, we're invited to visit the spinning, weaving, and dyeing thread in this group, Sword. And they asked us to go online and talk about what we were planning. And again, I need more time because I got in a ginormous loom, a jack loom for the table last Christmas, and I put it together and I have not warped it. So, of course, what did I do? I bought another loom. I now have a rigid heddle loom that I did take a class at Rhinebeck on the rigid heddle loom back in October, and it should be much easier to warp than that big sucker that I've got. And then I actually intend to take some of those same ideas on how to warp my big loom, because it seems to me if you've got a living room long enough, it should be okay. I don't know. You didn't come over for the sleepover.
No, I
didn't.
That would have been a little weird.
Well, just a little, but
yeah.
Well, except we have bedrooms, so.
I guess that's true.
Anyway,
but I couldn't have participated in any of the pillow fights or anything.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. So anyway, we've got a very long. It's a living room, dining room that just is as wide as the house, deep as the house, and so it's probably 30 feet. It could be. Okay. So it's possible that I could warp a loom to 30 feet and do it the same way as you do a rigid heddle.
I don't see why not.
I don't see why not either. In that case, I could warp that damn loom, pardon my French, pretty fast and get things on it.
Don't worry, we'll bleep that out.
So
it's for iTunes.
It's for iTunes, that's right. So anyway, I could see doing that. So yes, you do need a lot of space, but space I got in that room. So I should just make projects that are limited to that length, and I don't think that's real killer. I mean, even if it calls for rewarping, because I want to do more. I mean, you're not making a blanket that's 30 feet long. It's just not happening. I can see where you want to make one towel, then another towel, and another towel. But if you have to break it at 8 instead of 10, who cares? Because if you can warp it in an hour versus I've been 16 months at this, that's an enormous trade.
Yeah.
So anyway, I got online and said, well, I don't know what I want to do with weaving because I've never really gotten it to warp. So I'm looking. I'd love comments back. What do you think I should start with? And I can start on my rigid heddle. Actually, I could make Richard very happy and start on the jack loom. In fact, I could do that really easily. And if anybody wants to give me suggestions of what you think I should start with and what would be exciting. Because I go into weaving because it felt fun to do it, but I don't know what I would do with it afterwards. I could weave towels, I could weave that. Maybe I could think of weaving fabric to sew. I don't know. So I invite comment back. Did you find what you were looking for?
That was some very good filler, but it was for naught.
It was for naught?
But, so yeah, I was hoping to, see, what I'm planning on doing is drawing a picture of her dead kitty that she loved. But doing it with words instead of,
pictures?
Well, instead of lines.
Okay. Words drawn out so they form the outline or form the picture of the cat?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds are you familiar with the technique of pointillism?
Yes.
Okay, it'd be like pointillism, except instead of points, you have words or letters.
That would be beautiful.
Yes, and I drew out a grayscale of those words, and I was going to show you that, but
we've lost it. You put it away. Very good.
It says somewhere. I think it got lost in the rearranging of the apartment today. So.
Oh well, hopefully she won't find it when she's looking for something else.
That's
that's not going to happen.
Well, yeah, that for one thing, she's not going to go through it. It's in the middle of my notebook. For another, she's not going to understand it if she does see it. So.
Oh, okay, that's good. Well, that sounds lovely.
Yes. So
when is her birthday?
October 16th.
You have time.
I do have time. I just need a giant piece of paper. Oh, crud.
I'm not the only one who says inappropriate things.
I caught myself.
Okay.
You can't go up there. You come here now.
Molly has been looking for attention for the past hour.
No, she's been looking to get into things.
Well, that's true.
Now she's looking to escape.
Yeah, because you're here now, aren't you? Aren't you? Aren't you? Aren't you? Yes.
So she didn't like that.
Well, that'll be fun.
Yes. So.
Well, I really like this toe. I'm really happy with that. I think I'm up to 30 on each side, so I think I can now join it with this.
Yeah, probably.
And I can just start going. So my blind knitting for my sock. If the weather gets better tomorrow, my allergies come back.
Yeah.
So that's about all new I have. We haven't done any dyeing, my darling daughter and I, recently. I think we're calling a halt until June. This wedding is getting difficult because my darling daughter is in the bridal party. And so there's all kinds of jaunts that apparently have to be taken and festivities that have to be gone to. So I think that we're putting a small halt to what we're doing until that's over. But I'm kind of excited. I think the whole thing's exciting.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. In the meantime, I can work on that pattern for the scarf. And then I can show it to you. You're gonna laugh. That's just somebody. He's just gonna laugh.
Ah, lovely.
Well, just because it's so sophomoric, I think. But you know.
Okay.
Remember, I'm not the design part of this team, so it's like this will be.
Oh, I see. I see what you're saying now.
Yes.
I thought you meant. Okay. Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, it's like kindergarten, college student, kindergarten, college student. I don't want the college student laughing at the kindergartner here.
No, I would never do that.
So we'll see how it goes.
Plus, to be fair, the easier patterns tend to sell more anyways. So.
Well, hopefully this is what it will be.
Yes.
So I have an idea in my head, and if it doesn't quite work out, maybe you and I can figure out how to make it work.
I'm sure that could be done, yes.
Yes. So anyway, we'll leave you with that little teaser.
I'm not the worst designer in the world.
No, so. You're not. Certainly not. So that's about it. The boat is new. Seems to be working really well. We start racing next Thursday.
Oh, I assume you're going to want me for part of that.
Well, you can if you want. Right now, I think for the first 2 or 3 weeks, Richard wants to go with his regular crew.
Makes sense, yeah.
Just to, for a shakeout and make sure that what's going wrong is because the boat is doing something, not because one of us have stepped.
Yeah, that's very
inappropriately.
Good idea. Very good idea.
I mean, we found out yesterday that the Traveler is having some severe problems, so it may have to be repacked. It locked up right there, and. So there's a lot. I mean, we've been sailing. Rich has been sailing for 38 years. I've been sailing on and off for 20-some years. So it's not like we're newbies at this.
Right.
But you have to learn the nuances of each boat as it comes to you.
Yeah.
So this is a used boat. It's not a new boat. So it's about 9 years old. And the winches looked like they had been cleaned and repacked, but this Traveler looks like it had been ignored. So I think that we're going to have to repack it. So I think it'll be a series of things of learning, like what has been checked and what hasn't been checked. I mean, we had it surveyed, so the integrity of the boat is fine.
That's good.
But, it went in the yard. You're not really going to check how it works under load. So that's kind of different.
Are there barnacles on the bottom?
No, there are no barnacles on the bottom because it was in the yard and it was really, it had been sanded and painted. So that was fine. But like yesterday, we took it downwind and it went from going at about 4 to 5 knots to like dead.
Oh.
It sails like a pig downwind. I mean, it's awful. So we have to get a spinnaker rather quickly.
Yeah.
And luckily, it's set up for spinnaker. So we have a spinnaker halyard, and we have a ring on the mast for setting the spinnaker pole or a whisker pole. We tried running wing and wing yesterday, and that was a little better, but without a pole to hold it. Richard was standing up there as I'm driving the boat. And my driving of the boat went pretty well.
This one has a wheel?
This one has a very large wheel, yeah. If any of the newer boats had 2 wheels, this is our first boat with a wheel. We had a 35-foot boat that had a tiller. Yeah. So I'm having to relearn directions on the boat because I'm used to steering opposite of where I want to go.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay, so it's a head game.
Yeah.
And so he decided that one large wheel. We'll start with one large wheel, and then in a moment of weakness, he said, well, we'll try this boat for a couple of years, and if we really like this boat, then we can get a newer boat. Because the newer boats, according to the way they are, their dimensions are set up, they're supposed to be incredibly fast for a cruising boat. Okay. Okay. We had a racing boat before, so I'm kind of used to the speed. And we're talking sailing, and we're talking maybe, 8, 9 knots? I mean, it's not like, we're not going 50 miles an hour here. No. No. So, but the newer boats will come closer to that racing boat speed. So if you're going out for the weekend, you can actually get someplace, is the idea. while enjoying the quiet of sail.
Right.
Which is what I like. So anyway, we'll have to see how it goes. And we'll see if he remembers what he had said in that moment of weakness. But we are trying a bunch of the different things, and it's fun. So that's what I can be reporting on. Some flounders calling you.
Yes. I'm going to take it really quick in the middle of a podcast. It's great.
Okay.
Hi, Bear. Still podcasting.
I don't know what to say. Anyway, so we have this boat.
How long do I have?
And I'll be reporting back on it in 2 weeks.
I need a couple
do our first race, and we can report results from that.
Okay.
I'm supposed to fill, obviously.
Yes. Carolyn is our filler while I'm on the phone.
I'm filling like crazy. So what else can I talk about?
She's doing a very good job of it.
The weaving. I'd love to hear what you all have to say about the weaving.
I like pausing.
Either with the jack loom, which is, I can have an 8-heddle jack loom.
Okay.
Obviously, I bought one that was way too complex for me. Or the rigid heddle loom. As I said, Richard would probably be thrilled if I got the jack loom up and working. So any suggestions you have, please let us know.
So obviously, with me taking a phone call, this is definitely our most controversial episode to date.
Yes.
That's probably the title now.
Okay, that's perfect. That is absolutely perfect.
Well, we should probably wrap this up. I think you've done enough filler.
I've tried my best. Obviously, the brain is somewhat empty, so I'm not sure how good the filler is, but I've enjoyed it.
The filler was great. I love the filler.
Good.
That was the best part of the podcast.
Not hardly.
Okay, fine.
Okay, so what are we going to say?
I
take my cue from you.
Oh, okay. Thank you, everyone, for watching our podcast. And
knitting shawls.
And knitting shawls, yes, for our shawl along.
Yes.
Don't forget about our shawl along.
Because someone gets to win these cute little penguins.
Yes, and a pattern from Kristen.
That's right. That lovely pattern that I've already made, and I can attest that it's a wonderful pattern. It's very wearable. I think it's great. So I'll say goodbye.
Yes, so then thank you, and as usual, watch out for any penguins on your way out.
Kittens dogs, puppies, all of that. Goodbye, people.
All right, bye-bye.
See you.